Transition.
Again, the transitioning stuff is totally a statist product. This is something that's come out of the universities that are essentially government programs that has been perpetuated by the corporate media and
I'm not disputing any of that. Should they be allowed to do it though?
No. Well, that's
no.
Listen,
no.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me say this to be clear. Children, absolutely not. You should not be allowed to do that. Adults, a doctor should lose their license if they were ever to perform a surgery.
But it's voluntary.
Like sure.
And they consented.
But a license could also be voluntary, and a medical board could also be voluntary. So what does that mean?
And anarcho capitalism? What does that do? You're wanting to abolish the state. So if there's no state, why would we need medical boards and a medical license? Come on, man, use logic. You're this logician.
Well, so that's interesting that you bring that up, considering that the AMA was just a large corporate entity that was not government regulated. Did it get government money? Started off as a trade organization, in fact, and what it did was it defamed all other types of medicine. And that was not the government doing that. That was a private institution which was doing that. For the purpose, Carnegie.
Right.
Another private institution, Carnegie. The thing is that private institutions are just as susceptible to this type of overreach as the government is. Well, now, hang on, let me finish. My turn.
Sure. Go ahead.
So as we dive into this, though, these medical licenses, why would you even need to have a medical license in an anarcho-capitalist system? You wouldn't.
Thank you. That's the point I made.
Wouldn't even need to have one. And the voluntarism then of this man who wants to go in and have this elective surgery done, why would that be a problem?
I mean, you're sitting here arguing for an anarcho-capitalist society. Why would anyone follow medical boards and medical license and things to that nature when you're wanting to abolish it all? One, and number two, why would you bring it up as a way to ensure that there are no transitions?
There's no medical licenses, Dave. It's anarcho-capitalism, baby.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you're going to say that the worst case scenario in anarcho-capitalism is that some random man could go in and someone would give him this like surgery, okay, fine, I guess. I think that if you're asking why there would be licenses or why there would be voluntary organizations, because that's what human beings always naturally gravitate.
Like the government? Like the state? You're literally making a case for why we have a government and why we have a state and why we have police departments, why we have fire departments. You're making a case for all of this. Anarchy does not fix any of that, actually. Anarcho-capitalism.
But regardless of that, none of that is really the problem. The problem in our society is that this insane shit is being pushed on everyone, and it's being pushed by giant corporations who are connected to the government. It's being pushed by the government class, and most importantly, it's being pushed in the government schools. You know, one of the things, and
it's also being pushed by private institutions and think tanks who go to lobbyists and influence the government.
Let me finish.
Let's let Dave finish. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So one of the things that I would say to people listening to this, because I hope you guys will like kind of try to internalize this a little bit. Look, this whole shit, all of this insane degeneracy is being pushed by the most powerful people in this country. And it's not as if this just organically arose out of nowhere. And I hope you guys would at least consider the possibility that, look, the government always, by its nature, moves into the areas that were traditionally left for family and community and churches. And even something like educating the kids. This is one of the biggest problems that we have, that the government is in control of it. And why? And what would happen if they weren't? It would fall back into the realm of families and communities and churches. And what do you think would be better? What do you think would be better? This being run by Washington, D.C., or this being run by your local church? That's kind of the point I'm making. And if that means I have to sacrifice the FBI going on hunts for people having incest, I'm willing to make.
Yeah, I mean, these are great. These are almost great points, except that you forget, like these institutions like the AMA and this type of thing, which started out, 150 years ago. The government came in. They used to come in with antitrust laws and break these things up. And under anarcho America corporatism, these antitrust laws would not exist. These people would become.
Do you know anything?
Let me finish, Dave.
Okay, I apologize. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, so anyway, over and over again, we see what happens when corporations also gain a huge leverage on power when it comes to no check on them from any government entity. This was, in fact, the entire point of Franco's Spain and why Mussolini came up with the idea of fascism to begin with, which was that the state needed to stop large trade organizations from swallowing up small trade organizations. That was the point.
All right.
Let me finish, man.
Sorry.
I
thought you were done.
They recognized that this was an important thing because what ends up happening is corporate power can also become elite and it becomes a government unto itself. Anarcho capitalism is not going to stop that.
It kind of sounds like, because he's sitting on the edge of his seat, like waiting on him to finish. So it sounds like he's not even listening to him. He's just waiting for him to finish
from happening. And on top of that,
I could be wrong.
When we're talking about these moral oughts, these moral claims, there's not going to be medical licenses. There's no driver's licenses. There's none of these things which would protect you from this degeneracy, which your libertarian idealism leads us to every time. You can't even tell us why any of these things are wrong to do, Dave.
Well, okay. I already told you, and I have the exact same answer for what you have for why they're wrong. But listen, let me ask you this. Have you, because I know you call yourself a paleocon on Twitter. Are you are you familiar with like the paleoconservative thinkers? Like
Pat Buchanan's my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, for anyone listening here, read every Pat Buchanan book you can get your hands on. They're the absolute best. And Paul Gottfried too. You really should read him. He's just so good. And Sam Francis and all of these guys, dude. Go read them, and you will understand why this is just not right.
No, it's not, because Pat Buchanan would agree with me. He would say these moral oughts. He would say these moral oughts are going to require state enforcement no matter what. That's why he was a paleocon.
Okay, but what Pat Buchanan would not agree with you on is this idea that if there wasn't the government regulating these things, there'd be no reason for anyone to have licenses or something like that. That's just not true, dude. And
who would license them?
Listen. All of these guys, Pat Buchanan, Paul Gottfried, all of these guys, Sam Francis, they all said that a huge part of their program was a drastic cut in the size and scope of government.
Because they didn't like the military-industrial complex.
No. Not just that. Yes, Andrew, believe me, I know this stuff, so I'm not wrong about this. Yes. They wanted a cut in the military-industrial complex, but not just that. They wanted to destroy the managerial state. That was their entire plan. Paul Gottfried said, and this was his view, which I thought was a perfect way to say it, which I think you should really consider, that he goes, I am strategically a radical libertarian. And he was very clear that he's not a libertarian because he believes in rights in the same sense that I do. Like he was saying, I don't believe in your right to live any degenerate lifestyle that you want to, but I'm strategically a radical libertarian because he recognized that the only way that you could ever return to normalcy, culturally speaking, was to get DC out of the mix. That the centralized federal government cannot be this in control of the way children are raised, the way people are educated, the way people get healthcare and education and housing without it totally perverting the natural
State
order.
and local governments are just as susceptible to these things, Dave, from lobbying and everything else. And you can't
No, they're
stop.
not.
You can't stop lobbying, and you can't stop people who have the will of saying, I own myself, from demanding that they be able to be represented, from demanding that they be able to have lobbying, from demanding that they own themselves. They're consenting.
That has nothing to do with self-ownership, but okay. But
it clearly does, Dave.
Listen, I would highly recommend, instead of you just trying to win this point against me, go read what Paul Gottfried and Pat Buchanan had to say about this. Because
why? I don't understand. Why can't you make their argument, Dave?
No. I can make their argument.
Then make it.
I'm just saying. I'm saying, Andrew, you're already in the mode of not trying to hear a point I have to say.
I've heard everything you've said,
bro. Fire back immediately to get the win.
Yeah, I'm not.
Which is typical for both sides in a debate. I mean, that's typical. You're not debating the person that you're debating. Or, well, no, you are debating the person that you're debating. You're not trying to change and influence the person you're trying to debate. That's for the viewer, the listener. So that's who you're trying to reach.
I don't agree with you, so I'm arguing with you. That's how that works.
I'm saying, right. Okay, I'm saying that these guys who you call yourself a paleoconservative, the people who were the leading thinkers of paleoconservatism, made these points really well. I'm just trying to say, maybe go get it from a source where you'll actually be able to listen to it from.
I'm listening to it from you right now. I'm arguing with your points because I don't agree with your points.